This is VOA News, reporting by remote. I'm David Byrd. Aid workers in Ethiopia's Tigray region, citing local authorities and eyewitness reports, say an airstrike killed 56 people and injured 30 Friday night, including children, in a camp for displaced people. Hiludait reports from Addis Ababa.
Ethiopian government officials have not confirmed the reported strike that hit an area of the Debit town near the border with Eritrea. Aid workers, who asked not to be named because they are not authorized to speak to the media, told Reuters the strike occurred Friday night. An aid worker said victims were brought to Shire Shul General Hospital, adding the camp was a residence for elderly women and children. The reported airstrike happened after the government released detained Tigray People's Liberation Front senior leaders and other politicians Friday night in an attempt to curb the country's crisis. Hiludait for VOA News, Addis Ababa.
The bodies of some of the victims of a heavy overnight snowstorm in Pakistan were brought to Islamabad Saturday night. Temperatures fell to -8 degrees Celsius amid heavy snowfall at the mountain resort town of Muri overnight Friday and early Saturday, killing at least 22 people who were stuck in their vehicles. Officials said most of the victims died of hypothermia. Mourners were seen crying as ambulances carrying the bodies of victims drove through the streets, while colleagues showered the vehicles with rose petals. Located about 45 kilometers north of the capital of Islamabad, Muri is a popular winter resort that attracts more than 1 million tourists annually. Streets leading into the city are often blocked by snow in winter. For more on these stories and the rest of the day's news, visit our website. This is VOA News. Residents of Kazakhstan's main city Almaty on Saturday were struggling to buy food and fuel following a week of violent protests that burst out in several Kazakh regions. Reuters reporters said there were long lines of cars near a gasoline station and a crowd of people waiting for the opportunity to buy bread at a bread baking factory. The manager of a wet market told Reuters reporters that prices for potatoes and flour have risen due to a lack of fuel, but people now felt safer because of military presence in the city. Dozens have died, and public buildings across Kazakhstan have been ransacked and torched in the worst violence the ex-Soviet republic has experienced in 30 years of independence. After several days of violence, security forces appeared to have reclaimed control of the streets of Almaty on Friday. The country's president said he had ordered his troops to shoot to kill to put down a countrywide uprising. The James Webb Space Telescope has completed its 2-week-long deployment phase, unfolding the final mirror as it readies to study every phase of cosmic history. Astronomer and NASA spokeswoman Michelle Fowler said that the James Webb Space Telescope will scan the cosmos for light streaming from the first stars and galaxies.
It's built to answer some incredible questions about the origins of stars and galaxies and planets, the origins of us, the possibility of there being environments like the Earth on planets around other stars, and many, many things in between.
Webb blasted off in an Ariane 5 rocket from French Guiana on Christmas Day. Its infrared technology allows it to see the first stars and galaxies that formed more than 13 billion years ago, giving astronomers new insight into the earliest epochs of the universe. Former President Barack Obama commemorated the late Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid Saturday as a man who got things done, as Democratic leaders gathered from around the country to recall Reid, often laughingly, as a man whose impatience for pleasantries was part of his drive to improve the lives of ordinary Americans. Mr. Obama, who delivered the eulogy, said, "In a battle between perfection and progress, Harry Reid always chose progress."
Harry met people where they were, not where he wanted them to be. And he was willing to cut deals, even with folks he didn't agree with or particularly like.
The turnout at Reid's Las Vegas memorial service testified to his impact on some of the most consequential legislation of the 21st century, despite coming from a childhood of poverty and deprivation in